You have an important grammar lesson tomorrow to teach. How are you feeling? For some teachers, it's enough to keep them awake at night. It's enough to make them break out in a cold sweat. I know because that used to be me. I would obsessively prepare for grammar lessons, but as I walked in, I would really feel like I don't know what I'm doing. Now, I love teaching grammar. It's one of my favorite things to teach. And sometimes, if there's not enough grammar in a course, I will actually add some in because I enjoy teaching it. I enjoy the structure of it. I enjoy how creative you can be with it. And if it's taught properly, the students will really connect with it, have fun with it, and start to use it. In this video, I am going to talk about two things that you should do when you are preparing for a grammar lesson. So, the first one is select. Select the appropriate amount of grammar for the students that are in front of you. So, last week I taught a lesson on conditionals to a pre intermediate class. They are the highest level that we have on the program, but they are still pre intermediate to intermediate. And we did zero conditional, first conditional, and second conditional. Then we stopped. There are still other conditionals to go. And there are also things like teaching unless and as long as and in case. I didn't do that. I just gave them an introduction to conditionals because I felt that that was what they could manage without getting overwhelmed. Now, if you have to teach all of this stuff, so if on the course I had to teach the additional conditionals and stuff like that, then I would have planned it over a number of days, possibly even over a number of weeks, because students need to feel that the grammar is accessible to them. And I often talk to my students about there is more to this grammar point, but I don't want to overload you. So for today, this material that's on the board is enough. If you can do this, I'm very happy. The next one is personalize. So when you first meet your students, you need to do some kind of needs analysis. Now, if you have a group, this can be quite difficult. Google Forms are quite a good way of doing this. Also, things like come up to the board and tick certain things, what you find difficult, what you're interested in, what you want to learn about. If you can have one-on-one meetings with each student, that's much better. And at the moment, as part of my job here in Japan, we have private lessons. And my students are telling me things about their lives. What am I doing with that information? I am thinking about how can I put that into a lesson in the next few weeks. So one of my students has just introduced me to a new artist called Tame Impala. Never heard of Tame Impala before. We listened to part of a song and I thought, I quite like this. This is not bad. So now what am I thinking? I'm thinking, how can I get this artist into my lesson? Because that student is going to connect immediately. Now you might be thinking, come on, Liam, that's one student out of how many? All right. So try to find something that many students in the class are interested in. When I was in Hungary, a lot of the students, especially the boys, were really into Family Guy. And at the end of the lesson, they would come to me and show me their favorite Family Guy clips. So I needed to teach quite a dull grammar lesson on would rather and had better. So I picked an episode of Family Guy. We watched it in the class, and I used that episode to teach them the structures. You're giving them something they're already interested in. So you're doing the hard part. The hard part with grammar is getting students' interest in it. Once you have their interest, it's almost inevitable that they will stay with you until the end of the lesson. And that brings me to my next point. You already have two of my four tips for teaching grammar. S is for select, P is for personalize. The other two begin with I and N because I think of teaching grammar like spinning a web. You spin the web, and the students are already caught in the web by the time you bring up grammar. So you make them interested, you show them a video, you play a song for them. They're already engaged. And then when you say, okay, so now we're going to have a look at the grammar of this, they can't get out. They can't escape. It's like a spider spinning a web. If you want to know what the I and the N stand for, then head to my Patreon and you can find a lesson on there which is entitled How to Spin a Grammar Web. Hope you've enjoyed this video and I hope you'll join me again for the next one. In the meantime, take care.